Pleasant good afternoon, everybody. You're looking in live at Conway Field at Rafferty Stadium on this Saturday afternoon in March. It is the non-conference finale for Fairfield men's lacrosse, their second home game of the week, as after a 14-12 loss to Bryant on Tuesday, they welcome in the 3-2 Binghamton University Bearcats to Southwest Connecticut. JJ Duke here with you. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday afternoon watching NCAA men's lacrosse on the Stag Sports Network and Lacrosse TV. Fairfield in the white jerseys, Binghamton in the green. Tim Lucky will start it off for Fairfield at the dot against Matthew D'Souza, and D'Souza wins it quickly. He's going to go straight for goal here to start, but it's a nice save from Will Snyder, is right off the jump. These are two teams that are pretty high-scoring teams, averaging around a dozen goals per game. Expect a lot of that quick-fire type action, and early Will Snyder getting off to the start that he needed. Snyder, the freshman from Brightwaters, New York, who saved a season-low 7 against Bryant on Tuesday night. Able to fight that one off, and Fairfield, after a near turnover at the half-field line, get the clear and they'll go to work. They're facing off against Connor Winters in goal, the sophomore from New York State, with a save percentage of 54. Binghamton also played on Tuesday evening, a 14-13 loss to Lehigh, but that was one of those games that Binghamton gave themselves a big hole to dig themselves out of, trailing 13-6 at halftime. They nearly did. Fairfield ringing one off the pipe as McKenna trying to scoop up the loose ball, but Winters with the first touch. That shot from right out in front nearly beat him cleanly. But both teams with a grade A scoring chance here inside the game's first 90 seconds. As Binghamton trying to clear, the Bearcats at 85% on the clear. Fairfield did a really nice job on Tuesday against Bryant, forcing a number of turnovers. In fact, Bryant was 17 of 22 on the clearing game. And a handful of just unforced errors that they really didn't need, but Binghamton able to get things going here. Thomas Greenblatt, who wears number 2, the redshirt junior from Massapequa, New York, will work in the offense. The rest of the first line includes Gage Adams, a sophomore, formerly out of NJIT, who's got 12 goals on the season. As Nicholas Imbergia, the senior from Pittsford, New York, wears 8. Imbergia trying to roll the crease, lost his bounce, and Fairfield will get the stop there. The ground ball, Zach Antoniou. And here come the Stags in transition with Daniel Wilson. Bryce Ford, near side. Another nice save by Winters. Tight angle chance, fought off. That was Will Consoli. And a violation against Fairfield afterwards, as the ball was knocked out of the cross of, I believe that was Wilson, yes, still staying up on the play. And there's a flag, so a delayed penalty against Fairfield coming on the offside. It was Paolo Capucciati, getting it across, and now it's once again with Imbergia with 6 goals and 5 assists on the early season for Binghamton. This is also their last non-conference game at 3-2. Wins against Marist, St. Bonaventure, and St. John's last Saturday up in Vestal, New York. Greenblatt. That one rings the low pipe down beyond the right foot there of Snyder as it goes out of bounds. So we already hit the post a couple of times here in the game's first 3+ minutes. Going to look at Matthew Keegan, the sophomore from Lake Grove, New York, with 16 points. Better than the 11 that he had all of last season. Well, the man-up opportunity. First time today for Binghamton. Second best man-up in America East thus far in the season at 44%. Because they have to reset the shot clock to 60. It's an offside against Braden Lynch for Fairfield, back in the starting lineup. Fairfield on the man-down defense at 74%. Imbergia near side. Actually, they had Max Paparosi. They put 31 up, but it's Paparosi with the penalty. About to say Lynch's long stick midi. Gage Adams dodging. Single digits in the man-up opportunity. Greenblatt trying to create an angle. The shot got blocked on the way through. It will stay with Binghamton despite the dive by Fairfield's goalie, Will Snyder. 2 seconds left in the man up, and we're back to even strength. Stags doing a nice job killing. Still 22 seconds left in the offensive possession. Greenblatt, near side. There's the opener, Matthew Keegan, ripping that one home. He had 11 points in the first 2 games of the season. The sophomore from Lake Grove, New York. He had a couple of goals on Saturday to the Johnnies. 3 points against Lehigh on Tuesday. Did a really nice job actually here, utilizing a bit of a screen in front. See Greenblatt late in the shot clock coming across, and yeah, peeling just a little bit late there was Christopher DeBellis, the sophomore from New Jersey. Kind of took away some of the eyes from his goalie. There's another face-off win for Binghamton. Matthew D'Souza, one of the best, not only in America East, but in the nation, as D'Souza comes into today at 62%. Ball still being jousted for as Fairfield comes away with it. But another huge stick check. And a violation against the Stags as Rory Thompson loses out in that battle. Binghamton have done that a couple of times here. And the Bearcats will go back to work. On the road, Binghamton this season are 2-1. The opening 2 wins away at Marist 18-11 and beat the Bonnies 12-11. Gage Adams denied. Nice job there by Will Snyder to stand his ground at the near post. And Eli Adams will look to start the clear here. Fairfield, while they forced a number of turnovers in the clear, they were 21 of 23, and Andrew Baxter, the head coach for Fairfield, in his post-game notes said that the effort was really solid against Bryan on Tuesday. Just some of the unforced errors down the stretch were the things that hurt his team the most. As Paparosi, good roll dodge, flips it across to Bryce Ford. What passing from Fairfield! It started from Paparosi, who found Ford, and then a cross-field pass, a simple tap-in finish for Jack McKenna, and it's 1-1. We'll take a look at this whole sequence back here because it was just beautiful movement. It starts here with Paparosi. Bryce Ford does a really nice job there, kind of just playing possum far side behind the cage. Double team came over. Paparosi flips it across, and Ford, who saw McKenna just kind of glide over to this near side. A little one-touch finish there. And the sophomore from Fairfield, Jack McKenna, with 17 goals on the season. This is Ross Chazanow, the junior from Dallas, Texas, who wins a faceoff. I mean, what a 1-2 punch that Kevin McHugh, the head coach for Binghamton, has to work with. Okay, so if you need to give D'Souza a little bit of a break, Chazanow, no problem. He's at 55%. Binghamton as a team, well, it's really between those two, operating at 58% on the season, which is 16th best in the nation, and by far and away the league leaders in America East. And Fairfield, after fending off one of the better offenses in that conference on Tuesday, the first time that Bryant was held to below 15 goals in a game. They've got one of the best face-off teams, and, well, a lot of face-off wins means a lot of goals. Ethan Nsinga, the junior from Wantagh, New York, gives the Bearcats a 2-1 lead. And Nsinga doing a nice job stepping into that one, had 2 assists on Tuesday at Lehigh. That is his 7th goal of the season. Great balance that he's had thus far. 7 goals, 7 assists, after having 12 goals, 4 assists a season ago. For a Binghamton team that went 5-9, 3-3 in the league. They actually got the 2nd seed in the conference tournament, a large portion because Stony Brook were not allowed to compete in the conference tournament due to their impending move to the CAA. So they got the 2 seed in that. They're looking to do a little bit better this year. Keegan thought about quick firing, trying to back his way in. Nice job for the Stags defensively, and Zach Antoniou closing him down. Antoniou wears 44 for Fairfield, sophomore from Tampa. Really more of the underrated defenders that you'll see all across the CAA. Last year, 14 starts, average over a ground ball and caused turnover per game. He's right on that path here this season. Keegan, a number of fakes and finally scores. And a little extra word after to Snyder after that one. And that's just great patience right there by Matthew Keegan, stuffing that one home short side. And Fairfield just struggling to slide over and pick up their mark. There's a 2-goal run here for the Bearcats. Fairfield have still yet to win a faceoff, and one of the main reasons why they've yet to is their faceoff unit took a bit of a hit on Tuesday night, literally and figuratively speaking, because Dylan Smith not available for this game after getting hit by a wicked check from one of the Bryant defenders. It was Luke Mead on Tuesday night. Ended up being a 3-minute unnecessary roughness penalty, but he, along with Matt Rice, a short stick midfielder who also got banged up in that contest, not available to go. As the Stags, between injuries and illness, still seeing a number of players to really have much impact in the starting rotation, or at least the usual guys coming off the bench. Tim Lucky for Fairfield did a nice job on Tuesday filling in. He was 11 of 22 in that game. Keegan, good save by Snyder, threw the shoulder out to fight that off. That's already Will's 3rd save of the game. But Binghamton have gotten into a make-it-take-it mentality here. And that's something that they just excel in. When you can keep winning faceoffs, keep the pressure on, you're going to get goals as that one goes high and wide. They will reset the shot clock, so another save from Snyder. As Adams couldn't find pay dirt for his 13th goal of the season. Teams traded tallies in the first couple of minutes. Keegan scored for Binghamton, then Fairfield got one from Jack McKenna, then Nsinga and Keegan on a 2-goal run, but a turnover allows Fairfield to go to work here. And they'll look to go quickly. Ryan Lancaster unsettled near side to McKenna, trying to make the extra pass over. It's a great slide late by Lorenzo Ramos, who wears 24, took away the passing lane. The Stags will just reset here in the offense. Fairfield, an interesting stat about them. They're one of the teams in the bottom of the CAA in terms of shots per game. They average 36 per contest, but they take the most efficient looks. Second most in terms of shots on goal in the league at 23, and they've got the best shooting percentage in total, not just shots on goal percentage in terms of conversion, but they keep it on target at 32%, which is 6 percentage points better than the second-place team. So really, if they could just generate some more offense and keep the efficiency, then they're going to get goals just like that. Paparosi from some way out as Connor Winters thought he had that one, just squirted underneath, and the Stags bring it back to 1-goal game. You see that low release there, and actually that pretty much beat Winters clean, I thought, for the way that Winters was sprawling around and trying to find the ball. That he might have stopped that one, but that snuck in short, or the far side. Fairfield again still looking for their first face-off win. They'll get it via violation as D'Souza goes early against Ryan Hamburger. And the Stags will look to go 2 for 2 here. Paparosi. He doesn't get credit for the assist on the first goal, but it's kind of that hockey assist, the pre-assist that set up a goal. That was his first point. McKenna tried to slam dunk that off the rebound, and it's fought back towards Winters. Patrick Murad with the clear. The save for Winters, his second of the game. Nice crowd here at Rafferty Stadium on this rather chilly Saturday afternoon. We had weather overnight into the morning, but unlike the game on Tuesday where it was raining pretty much throughout and a little bit of snow flurries in there too, it is dry. The wind also was a huge factor in that game on Tuesday as well, as it was pretty consistent going from left to right. Fairfield ended shooting with the wind at their back in the last quarter and netted a number of goals because they had a 6-goal deficit chasing into that period and got 5 quick ones in the first 6 minutes. But they, like Binghamton, found themselves in too deep of a hole to climb out of. Keegan with Adams, time to step into one, misses wide. Gage Adams, he's going to sit out the perimeter. Just wait for guys to feed to him. And he'll whine and fire. It's just simple mechanics. Behind the back effort goes off the pipe. Colin DeLay from Mineola, New York. A nifty move there, but not able to get it home. His team, though, do get the reset. DeLay just playing in his 2nd game of his collegiate career. That would have been a way to open up your account. That time misses. I love the effort, by the way, from Will Snyder. Doesn't matter if he has a guy trying to go for the backup or not. He's going to go for every backup anyways. That's the mentality that Coach Baxter wants his players to have. Always make the effort plays. Sometimes you're going to get rewarded for that hard work, even when you think it goes against you. Another save by Snyder. That one stung. Dylan Braddock put a lot behind that shot, and you could hear the audible groan as Lancaster gets knocked down, somehow able to keep the ball. And what a pass! With 2 guys around him, he still found Antoniou. And Lancaster having words to the officials there, wondering why wasn't there a call. That is just an energy play right there by Ryan Lancaster, the junior from Maryland. Keeping the ball alive, and the Stags now a chance after a couple stops from Snyder to look to tie this game up. Colin Consoli, nice dodging, reverses back. Beautiful ball movement from Fairfield. The shot, though, goes wide. I think actually Consoli might have, or not Consoli, excuse me, Jake Gilbert threw that into the middle. And 50 is Rob Moore. Actually took himself out of a great shot for a good shot going to Consoli in the alley. Take that one first time. It's right on top of the goalie. McKenna, he's not going to worry about thinking if there's better shots out there. He'll just take it on his own. And he's got a multi-goal game. And Jack McKenna now 2 goals for him, which continues this exceptional run that he has had with Fairfield men's lacrosse. This is his 21st game with Fairfield. In his career, he's had 2 or more goals in all but one of them. He had 2 against Bryant on Tuesday, equaling that mark here, still with 2 and change left in the first. The Binghamton win yet another face-off here. That was from Chazanow. And there's a timeout taken by Binghamton. Actually, might not have helped them a whole lot because Aaron Tebow was in on goal. We'll keep it here during this timeout. Aaron Tebow had himself in on front. He was wondering, why did you need to take one, coach? Just let me shoot. With 2:11 left, and it was a little unsettled for Binghamton. They want to use a timeout here. And Binghamton, as I was mentioning earlier, finished tied for 3rd with UMBC in America East action last year, but they got the 2 seed due to the head-to-head tiebreaker and the fact that Stony Brook, who are not involved in the conference tournament, ultimately losing to UMBC by, well, one of the lesser offensive type games that you'll see, especially in the shot clock era. Here's a look back at Lancaster, by the way. This was after Fairfield made the stop to keep it at 3-2, takes a hit from 2 different guys, and somehow, from the seat of his pants, squirted that ball out to Antoniou. Ultimately, ends up leading to a Jack McKenna goal. Yeah, the Binghamton team, though, after falling 7-6 to Stony Brook, or excuse me, to UMBC last year, looking to take it the step further. They're projected to finish 5th, which is a little surprising. I mean, yes, they did lose the Bearcats for their top 5 scorers from a season ago, including Kevin Winkoff with 55 points. Daniel McKinney had 19 goals. And Teddy Dolan, of course, very good goalie in his own right, 2nd-team All-America East last year. But a lot of guys that Coach McEwen brought back. And of course, the addition of Bryant to the fold. And perhaps you would have thought to yourself, though, okay, that's a good enough team to be projected inside the top 4 in the league, but coaches in the league certainly had other ideas about it. 2 minutes left to go here in this first quarter. It has been a good one thus far, Rafferty Stadium. After that Binghamton timeout, O'Hara goes back with Thomas Greenblatt. Greenblatt trying to shake his defender and scores. Rode the challenge of Joe Constantino, and Greenblatt gets a tally. A redshirt junior from Massapequa had 5 points against Lehigh on Tuesday. Scored from some distance out, and that's one of those, if you're Snyder, probably wanting that one back. He won't mind, though. Find its way to the back of the net. You'll be happy with it, as Fairfield's still trying to figure out the combination of Chazanow and D'Souza. This is Chazanow taking. Even when it looked like Ryan Hamburger won it on the first instance, it's still being jousted for. The referee on the far side had the hand up, and then near side judge brings it back for a violation against Fairfield. So now we're trying to get it all sorted out here, and we're going to have a chat. Our crew today is led by Gavin Chamberlain. Christopher Schmidt and Patrick Kenny are the 2 assistants. Now, the referee on the far side started to wind the clock to say, possession secured. Never looked like possession actually was secured in that instance. You'll take a look back at it here. Yeah, it's still loose at this point. It was when the ball was jabbed over. You see a glove flying as well from DeBellis for Fairfield. You can see the official right about now winds the clock, but still no one was in possession at that point. You'd probably say because, yeah, the ball was back over to Binghamton in their defensive zone. It would be a clearing attempt, but even still, no one had complete control. Binghamton has since been awarded the ball due to a violation against Fairfield. And it will be Binghamton ball. So the Bearcats cannot see out the remainder of this quarter. There's an 11-second differential between the end of the period and the shot clock. But after Fairfield responded to Binghamton's 2 goals with a 2-goal run of their own, the most recent tally from Greenblatt has given the Bearcats a chance to finish out this period on the front foot, perhaps looking for more. Nicholas and Bergia will back it back out. This is good management right here from a Binghamton team that returns a couple of dozen players from that group a season ago. Back-to-back years for Binghamton to 5 wins. Just missed out in 21, and that shortened a league-only season in America East. And Bergia doing some nice stuff to ride the challenge of Lancaster. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Keegan didn't like it. Bergia flips into the middle. Good stick check, though, by Fairfield's Eli Adams, and a quick pass ahead. That was an ill-advised effort. I believe that was Daniel Wilson just flipping that ball across. The Stags had 17 seconds when they got it back. They concede possession cheaply. It leads to a good save from Snyder, tipping that bouncer over the bar. Still enough time, though, for Binghamton to get one more from Adams. The effort is wide. And with 1 second left in the period, Adams maybe can, or excuse me, a player can just fling it far side. They do, and that will end this first quarter. It's been entertaining end-to-end stuff, and no surprise, these 2 teams played a wild one a season ago. We'll tell you all about it when we come back, but after 15 minutes here, it's Binghamton 4, Fairfield 3. You're watching Fairfield Men's Lacrosse on the Stag Sports Network and Lacrosse TV. Welcome back here to Rafferty Stadium. Just about ready to go for quarter number 2 between Binghamton and Fairfield. The final non-conference tune-up for both of these teams before the Stags start CAA play and Binghamton start America East action. Binghamton led by the 2 goals of Matthew Keegan, a tally for Greenblatt and Nsinga. Fairfield with a couple of goals from Jack McKenna, 1 from Max Paparozzi. Well, when these 2 teams met last year, it's actually a game that was moved back due to some nasty weather in upstate New York, but the Stags came away with a 16-11 victory. This was on March the 14th. Jack McKenna had 5 goals and an assist in that. Max Paparozzi with 3 tallies. Fairfield's then starter, James Corsiniti, with 21 saves in that contest. Shows that we just had a lot of action in that game. Both teams peppering the cages in frigid conditions. Binghamton looking for a little retribution here in this one in the return meeting. Nsinga to the far alley, and what a snipe from Matthew Keegan. That wrapped up his first half hat trick. Well, he dropped down and let that one fly. And this is a guy that had 5 goals in the opener against Marist on the road, followed up with 4 goals against St. Bonaventure. And 3 points on on Tuesday against Lehigh. He is just finding the cage at will and finishing. 3 goals on 4 shots. And a Binghamton team who are out shooting Fairfield 17-7 thus far in the game. Large portion of that is the face-off battle. Matthew D'Souza winning yet another face-off against Fairfield's Tim Lucky. Again, if you're just joining us, Fairfield's usual lead face-off guy, Dylan Smith, injured, and what a finish! Oh, a little spinorama there from Declan Ferris. And the senior gets his first goal of the season. This is a guy that's usually making plays on the other side of the field, averaging over a caused turnover and a half per game, but putting on the moves. And this, again, that's just a thing of beauty right there, sending Daniel Wilson for a ride and finishing it off. Fairfield without Dylan Smith, the redshirt sophomore from Yorktown Heights, New York. The Stags are having all sorts of issues winning a faceoff. That was just their second win, but both have come via violation. So all their offensive possessions really have been off of stops on one end. Stags need to start figuring ways out, even just to get the ball out to the wings and go to work. Comes all the way back out here to Riley Sullivan, junior transfer from Boston University. Shane Osborne in the alley, Fairfield running their second midfield unit. Luka Kupski that's not a Kupski, it's Kevin Dolden having all sorts of issues bringing that pass in. That's a push from behind. This will be a foul against Binghamton. So reset the shot clock to 80. I thought it should be 80, but they put 60, I guess, for the same team reset. Bit of a possession shot there from Sullivan, flinging that wide of the mark to release some pressure. McKenna trying to roll the crease. Getting hacked and whacked at from Christian Hanko. Hanko, what a job that is. A sophomore from New Jersey making a play, but he loses the ball right back. Big ground ball here. The referee's going to bring this one back for a push against the Stags. So despite Daniel Wilson getting the possession, he thought it's going to be with Binghamton. They're going to move here. It's still unsettled. Max Napoli, good close down there from Christopher DeBellis, not allowing him access inside. Binghamton have scored 3 straight after Fairfield responded. Binghamton's 2-goal run with one of their own. This is a good response here for the Bearcats after struggling to string together good offensive possessions on Tuesday to Lehigh. They trailed over a half dozen at halftime. Still almost found a way to beat Lehigh. Lost 14-13. Adams, 25 points last year for NJIT. America East, all rookie honors. Fairfield claiming the backup, but near side officials saying that Nsinga was a lot closer to the angle where the ball went out. Yeah, all rookie honors for Adams last year, and coming into Binghamton, 14 points already. Eight on the shot clock, though. Bearcats got to go. Keegan gets it back to the top and delay. 2 and 1, and that will the horn never went off, so Adams let that go anyways. Hey, why not? You don't hear a whistle, keep playing until you hear one. The clock was at 0 for quite a long time, but Fairfield dodge it nonetheless. And Will Consoli going to try to go coast to coast. Flips it to McKenna. What a save. Winters does a great job fighting that one off, and even better there by Max Verch to fling it back to his keeper, and now it's end-to-end stuff here. If you're Fairfield, do not mind that take at all from McKenna. In alone on the goalie. Gonna bank on the CAA Rookie of the Year from last year to go and get you another goal, wrap up his hat trick. Now Binghamton will settle it down. 5 minutes gone here into this second quarter. The visitors with both tallies in the period thus far. Led by the hat trick of Keegan. Goal and assist each for Greenblatt and Nsinga. Greenblatt drew the double, but what a take there. Ryan Lancaster playing possum. Kind of like in a zone defense. Here bounces off a couple of challenges, keeps possession. Fairfield trying to stop this Binghamton 3-goal run. Lancaster's telling Paparosi to slow to allow the substitution sequence to go. Ryan Lancaster's had a heck of a ball game thus far. Made a number of plays defensively. Jake Gilbert will slow it up now and allow the substitution sequence to finish. Still over half of the shot clock left. Gilbert, freshman from Foxborough, Mass. Former U.S. Lacrosse All-American working behind the cage. Max Paparosi will go back to Gilbert. Gilbert, nice inside move there, right in front of the crease. They're going to bring this one back here. The official says, yeah, crease violation, so you count the save anyways for Connor Winters, which is his third. Winters going to come a long way out, and he's met by the double team. Bryce Ford knocking the ball loose. 4 seconds left in the clear, and Ford knocks it loose once again. And Fairfield, great riding pressure. Was there a timeout called before, though? I'm not quite sure when that timeout was taken. Well, one official here on the near side said reset the shot clock. And I wonder if they're going to allow the turnover and then possession to Fairfield. But nonetheless, a heck of a ride there by the Stags. Bryce Ford knocking the ball loose not once but twice. Take a look at this back here. Yeah, Winters coming a long way out. And there's Ford after Paparosi doing a lot of work. Got it loose once and twice. I love the reaction from one of the Fairfield reserve goalies. I think it's Colin Consoli over there. Getting a ground ball for himself. And the reset of the shot clock to full 80, I would have to presume that Fairfield will get possession coming out of this timeout here. And that sea of humanity there would be Fairfield's head coach, Andrew Baxter. And he's spoken a lot about how this team this season, the graduations of such talented players like Taylor Strow, like Drake, Frankie Libetti at the X, is a learning process. Even with some of his players that he has coming back who are experienced by class nature, and not as experienced in terms of game time action. It's all about getting yourself ready right now for league play, and the addition of 3 new teams, Stony Brook, Monmouth, and Hampton. It's a new opportunity for the Stags to try and make the postseason. Been a number of seasons since the Stags have gotten to the CAA tournament. The last was 2016. Consoli, right off the timeout, scores. That's exactly what you want. You force a turnover and call timeout. Well, in this case, Binghamton, but you have a chance to set up a play anyways, and yeah, go and finish. Will Consoli, the freshman from Glen Rock, New Jersey, now 11 goals on the season. Nifty finish on the run there. Now Fairfield, who have struggled from the faceoff, trying to win one cleanly. It looked like P.J. McGoldrick had a beat on it, but it gets kicked around, and Gage Adams recovers. So faceoff now 10-2 in favor of the Bearcats. D'Souza's 5 of 6, or excuse me, 9 of 11, I should say. D'Souza's 5 of 6, and Chasnow is 5 of 6. As the stats finally update, they're 10 of 12. I mean, still, regardless, however you put it, you've only lost 2, and none cleanly. The 2 losses come from violations, so Fairfield really have to change it up at halftime. Keegan. Quinn O'Hara scores! He broke the stick of Joe Constantino and just flexing there. Yeah, well, he put enough power to break a man's stick and even a bit more to beat the goalie from some distance out. And Binghamton right back. The bench across the way all doing bench press goal celebrations. Yeah, that is some strength there. The 6'3" senior from Melville, New York, picking up his 10th goal of the year. The 5th different goal scorer for the Bearcats. You have Keegan with 3, and then Greenblatt, O'Hara, Insignia, and Ferris all with a tally each. And for the first time today, the Stags win the faceoff. Oh, it's a break there and leads to a rush for Ryan Lancaster. Puts it wide. A good look, though, actually, from Lancaster, as he had Winters scrambling to get down to his left. And also knew that he had the backup with Ford, so, you know, force a look. If you miss, that's okay. You have the backup. And it came from Binghamton kind of checking off a little bit there after losing the faceoff. Gilbert reverses back to the top. Now Consoli dodging to the right. Moving to the middle. Bryce Ford, effort is off the mark. They hit the back of the net. Taking the feed from Rob Moore. So still 27 seconds on the shot clock. Good work by Max Napoli closing down Fairfield ball carrier. Goes to Jake Coleman. 12 on the shot clock. Coleman trying to create separation. Goes in the middle. Paparosi. Nice save by Winters. Looked like Winters was a little off kilter and somehow able to scramble down to his left and come up with that save. And even more impressively, not spilling it. I think Paparosi was even a little surprised that that pass found him, and he found that much space to create a look. So he got the soft spot about 7 yards away from goal. Greenblatt trying to beat Rory Thompson. Greenblatt then throwing an extra little shoulder there to Lancaster, as those two guys have been mixing it up all afternoon. A flag comes out, possession kept alive, and Binghamton will cash in. Quinn O'Hara once again from a long ways out as Lancaster, well, he got the flag initially for a trip. Ball still found its way here. What awareness by Greenblatt. You see, yeah, kind of unlucky there because Lancaster actually tripped over himself and then caught the man. But he had the presence of mind, Greenblatt, to roll that out to space, knowing that he had teammate running onto it. And O'Hara puts it home. It's Binghamton 8, Fairfield 4 with under 5 to play in the second period. Binghamton had possession there, but Capucciati lost it, and Fairfield will get it back, and they will use a timeout with 4:47 left to go in the second quarter. We'll check in on some of the scores from elsewhere in NCAA Division I men's lacrosse. A handful of 11 a.m. start times. We also have league play beginning as well in some conferences. The MAC actually getting league action going. LIU over VMI by a goal at 14-13. Other MAC game, Quinnipiac and Canisius tied up at 11. Those two teams projected to be amongst the leaders in that conference. Yale over Denver, 11-9 up in New Haven. That's final. And then these are games in progress. Fourth quarter, Cornell 6, Penn State 9. In CAA action, actually a league game in conference. Delaware in cruise control against Monmouth, up 16-5 there. Drexel in a battle of Philadelphia leads St. Joe's 13-9. Richmond on the road at Georgetown up 12-11 late in that contest. Harvard losing to Michigan at home 16-12. Also in the MAC, you've got Manhattan in cruise control against former NEC, now MAC opposition, Mount St. Mary's 9-3. Albany trailing Maryland 12-7 at home. UMBC leading Mercer 11-8. Lindenwood up at NJIT down in Newark 12-10. Also in the fourth quarter. All these games in the fourth quarter. UNC up 11 over Brown. 17-6. Providence and Stony Brook tied at 8. High Point leads Robert Morris 13-10 in the fourth quarter. And then a bunch of games getting going. We'll check those later on. Fairfield using their first of 2 timeouts. The Stags need a goal. Coleman. Paparosi reverses. Jake Gilbert found an opening for Rob Moore. Ford didn't like the angle. Good close down by Lorenzo Ramos, who's drawn the assignment of Bryce Ford. Ford, who's amongst the conference leaders in the CAA of a number of offensive categories, goals per game, points per game, and shots per game. Max Paparosi, 17 points coming into today's game. Consoli, nice read. Max Verch intercepting that pass. Just the 4th caused turnover and only the 6th turnover from Fairfield in this game. They've actually done a really nice job hanging on to the ball, but also they've had not that many possessions. And just beating the clock there was Verch. He got over the timeline with about a half-second left and a penalty against P.J. McGoldrick for slashing against Verch. So a delayed penalty coming. And Binghamton will happily take more time off the clock here. They've outscored the Stags 4-1 in this quarter. I'll not be surprised to see Binghamton not start their move until about 15-20 seconds left, just to maximize the time. Actually, they're moving pretty quickly, though, as Colin DeLay works it out to Gage Adams. Binghamton don't get a goal from this, and they'll get the ball right back with a reset of the shot clock. Adams down to 10. Works it over to Will Feldman. Now Nsinga with 6. Nsinga driving. Goal line extend. Flips it across. That one off the pipe. interesting. Now the referee has just stopped the clock here. Does it look like a clean reset? Matthew Keegan. Binghamton fans really not happy with that, by the way, because the possession would have reset. Still a delayed penalty coming. But now because the referee stopped the plays, will allow the man-up opportunity. Which would be the second of the game now for the Bearcats. As McGoldrick will sit. 1 minute for slashing. Binghamton team that are 7 of 17 on the man-up this season. Fairfield have only allowed 6 man-up goals on the season. This is their 25th man-up possession that they've had to fend off. A nice move in front, and they'll award the goal. Matthew Keegan with the dive. He was able to release and have that one go across the goal line before he entered the crease. So it's a man-up tally for Keegan, who gets his 4th. And that is the correct decision there. Because if the man is in the crease before the ball crosses the line, then yeah, it would be a crease violation. But you give Keegan his 4th, his 3rd man-up goal of the season. And now 17 on the season. For a guy who only had 11 points all of last year. He played in every game that Binghamton had. And because of the Bearcats graduating 4 of their 5 top scorers from a season ago, you got to find 4 new ones. Still being battled for on the face-off. Ford thought he had it after the ball got dislodged from Christian Hanko. This is a clearing opportunity, though, for Binghamton. Under 2 minutes to play. And Binghamton can't see it out completely in the quarter, but with a 5-1 advantage in the period. And the Bearcats have scored the last 3. You can hold it and continue to work against this rather tired Fairfield defense. Quinn O'Hara's had 2 of those goals in the quarter. Has that pass knocked down. But the Stags cannot regain possession, despite the work of Zach Antoniou knocking it down. Still 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Chance over the bar from Nsinga. 26 shots for Binghamton in this first half to Fairfield's 14. And Will Snyder has already saved 7. And certainly not the fault of his, the amount of work that he's had to deal with. Fairfield just can't win faceoffs. It's 12-3 to the Bearcats. Another shot off the pipe. That was from O'Hara. Reload over the bar. What a ground ball from Greenblatt. He nearly took it cleanly off the ricochet from the post. And now Binghamton can hold for the last shot here because of the offensive rebound, if you will. 30 seconds left game time. There is a shot clock on, but it really does not matter. So Binghamton will go into the locker room with a lead. It's the question of, is it going to be 5 or 6? Tough pass, a little behind Nsinga, and nice stop by Snyder. Fairfield with 10 seconds. They do have enough time to work it up the field quickly here. Hank D'Ambrogi's got to go. He's got 3 seconds. Ford with 2, feeds it in front, and the shot never came off. Binghamton, just a solid first half effort. That's all you can say for head coach Kevin McEwen. They got the looks that they wanted. They got the goals that they wanted, good finishing, and also they've won faceoffs, and not a lot of work defensively, but Binghamton have gotten the stops they needed to. So they lead 9-4 heading into halftime. Back in a moment here on the Stag Sports Network. Welcome back here to Rafferty Stadium on the campus of Fairfield University. After 30 minutes of action, Binghamton leading 9-4 off the strength of a 3-goal run to finish off that second period. A 4-goal output in total from Matthew Keegan off 5 shots, and Binghamton dominating the X thus far, winning 12 of 15 faceoffs. Will Snyder keeping Fairfield in it with 8 saves and 2 goals from Jack McKenna, but Coach Andrew Baxter certainly with a lot of work to do to try and get his troops motivated. Welcome back here to Fairfield, Connecticut, halftime of this NCAA men's lacrosse contest between Binghamton and Fairfield, with the Bearcats finishing off the first half, scoring 6 of 7. They lead 9-4. Taking a look at some of the first half highlights from this one, well, it's just kind of a number of guys getting in on the scoring. The leader is Matthew Keegan with 4 goals off 5 shots. Then 2 from Quinn O'Hara in that second quarter. Thomas Greenblatt with a goal and 2 assists. Ethan Nsinga with a goal and an assist, and also a pole goal from that man right there, Declan Ferris. Yet Binghamton out to this lead. Fairfield would get a few of their own. Great ball movement on a few occasions. Jack McKenna with a couple of goals. Max Paparosi with a goal. Will Consoli with one as well. Bryce Ford, 2 assists in that first half. But Fairfield need him going as Ford. Yeah, sure, he's getting the points. No issues with that whatsoever. He's also got the averages 2.25 goals per game. And a way for Fairfield to get back into this contest would be getting that man going as well. But another key facet would be winning a few faceoffs. The combination of Ross Chazanow and Matthew D'Souza are 12 of 15. And of the 3 wins that Fairfield have had on faceoffs, 2 have been by violation. So they need to find a way to get themselves in rhythm offensively. And for the second consecutive game against America East opposition, Fairfield find themselves with a 4 or more goal deficit in the second half. They had a 6-goal deficit in the fourth quarter and got it to within 1. But it wasn't enough. And Fairfield trying to avoid a 4-game losing streak heading into CAA play. And picking up where he left off, Russ Chazanow with the win, goes to goal and puts it just wide. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with us here on the Stag Sports Network and Lacrosse TV. JJ Duke with you. And for what this is the last non-conference game for both of these teams, we'll look at the upcoming games for both as we go throughout this one. But for head coach Kevin McEwen, in his 7th season with this program, is really looking to build that momentum into starting league play next week and going just a little bit better than where they were from a year ago. Of course, Vermont, the defending champions in the league, and Bryant, one of the highest octane offenses that you'll see in NCAA men's lacrosse. Those are some tough tests, but Binghamton know that they've got the pieces, despite losing a number of key figures from last year, to get them over the line. Will Snyder making his 10th save of the game. Fairfield got to get that ball across the line. They only have 5 seconds to do so, and they do get it across. Yeah, that's a miscue right there. Looking across as Jake Gilbert was not on the same wavelength with Eli Adams. Offside. And Fairfield, a team that only committed 6 turnovers in that first half. But that's a mental one right there. And again, the way that they've had to generate offense is coming from getting stops from their goalie. Binghamton haven't really committed all that many turnovers either, just 8. Team that averages 17 per game, so the Bearcats are doing better than usual in terms of keeping possession of the ball. But mental miscues, especially now in mid-March, you really can't have them. Nicholas and Bergia behind goal. Now with Greenblatt. Nice pass into the alley. Fairfield with the slide. Gage Adams has his shot blocked. I think it was Eli Adams stepping into it, maybe inadvertently. Good work, though, by Daniel Wilson chasing the ball down. It's Fairfield trying to make sure that they get the right amount of players across the line in time. They will gain the clear. Now a chance to go to work here. First time in this half against Connor Winters, the Binghamton goalie, who stopped 3 Fairfield only put on 14 shots in the first half to Binghamton's 29. Doubling up +1. Nice look to Gilbert, and he just misses. That was a great feed, though, from Moore to Gilbert. Just not able to keep that one on target. Paparosi reverses to Consoli. Paparosi in front. That was forced wide. Good save there by Winters. Once again, making himself big. He's at 6'3". The guy that did not feature at all is Binghamton returned 0 goalie minutes from last year. He's looked nice today. Gilbert, though, off the reload. It's another good save. Gilbert got the rebound. It's a push against Fairfield, but Binghamton get the ball back, so no need to stop it. And now here come the Bearcats. Capucciati going to set a screen. It's a good one for Keegan, who scores. He took a hit, but he kept on going. Matthew Keegan, his 5th goal of the game. Well, that started there after the turnover. Or at least Fairfield not finding the ball cleanly. Paolo Capucciati found Keegan, then set a screen. He got barreled in the process, but Keegan then kept going, took a hit, and he scored anyways. Matthew Keegan, 5 goals, his second 5-goal game of the year. Matthew D'Souza winning the faceoff. Here comes Aaron Tebow. Good save by Snyder. You know, I'll tell you this much. Will Snyder not in goal today, or doesn't have the standards that he's had, Binghamton's probably got about 14. Yeah, it's only a +4, but some of the saves that Snyder has had to make today, they're high-caliber stops. Fairfield need to find some sort of offense here and a way to get one past Connor Winters. The last time that Fairfield scored in this game at this 8:10 mark from Will Consoli, that was in the second period. Errant pass that Fairfield able to keep it alive. And there's only 1 goal scored since the 2:24 mark in the first quarter when McKenna got his 2nd of the game. So Fairfield looking over a half hour of game action. That's not right. 20-some-odd minutes in game action with only just 1 goal. Now transition here for Ferris, looking for a second. It's another good save from Snyder. After Dean Ford, I believe it was, who just had a shot. Yeah, it was Ford. In his first action since the opening day of the season, actually, has been banged up. One of the 2 captains for Fairfield. Snyder makes his 11th save. Colin DeLay reverses back to the 5-goal man Keegan. That shot off the pipe. Crossbar, in fact, from DeLay. Dylan Braddock gets the rebound. That's got to be what? 4, maybe 5 posts that Binghamton have had in this game. Binghamton's season best. The goal output was the 18 that they had against Marist in the opener. Like I said, the amount of good saves that Snyder's made plus posts, they're probably beyond that. Just a testament to how good the Binghamton offense has been in this game. How they've created the looks that you want in system. Reverse back near side. Will Feldman closed down by Wilson and forces not a great shot there. Good step up by Daniel Wilson, the senior from Levittown, New York. And Fairfield gained the clear. And Jack McKenna, who, again, he scored that goal to tie it at 3. 2:24 left in the first. He'd love to be fed a few more times. Gilbert met by the double. .40 on the shot clock for Ford. Another double that Paparosi gets out of. Ford drawing Virch. Luka Kupski now to Consoli. Good look to McKenna in the middle. The shot goes wide. Not touched by the goalie either, so Fairfield got a move here. Just 13 on the shot clock. Ford. Nice dodge. Ford scores. And that ends a long scoreless drought for Fairfield, and for Bryce Ford, his third point of the game. But it's just his first goal of the contest. This came after the look from McKenna. He was able to send Hanko on for a little bit of a cycle there, and Ford getting goal number 15 of the season. He's got 24 points. And now Fairfield desperately needing themselves a couple of face-off wins here. Just to try and build some sort of momentum, but yeah, it's not to be. Matthew D'Souza once again, who came into today at 62%. That number is just going to skyrocket as D'Souza's 8 of 10 in this game. And Chazanow is 7 of 8. Snyder able to shut the door there on Nsinga. Another good look from Ethan Nsinga, actually. And Snyder, I think it stung him a bit again. It's cold out here, and if you don't take a shot off the padding, it's going to hurt a bit, but he's standing tough. He's doing, again, I've said it, he's doing his utmost best to keep Fairfield in this game, and even then, the way that they have been dominated at times in terms of ball possession and quality of shots, you know, if you take a 4-goal or 5-goal deficit into the fourth quarter, that's kind of standard for the sport. Gilbert trying to lose his mark. Comes back to Will Consoli. Still with 30 left in the shot clock here. Reverses back. Consoli with separation. He takes the shot. It's a good save. McKenna trying to fight for the rebound. It's picked back up, though, by Rob Moore, who then loses out. Bit of a trip. I'm actually going to say a push, and it's possession back to Fairfield. You know, the way that Ford got knocked over, man wouldn't fall on his own like that. So the Stags get a reload. A good shot there from Will Consoli, forcing the 6th save from Connor Winters. The alley for Ford didn't want it. Ford. Again, passes up the look. What a catch by Consoli. Can he score? A shot got knocked down in front. Taking the bullet there is, I believe, Rob Krusch. And Jack McKenna riding and wins it back for his team, but the pass is off the mark. Well, something that Jack McKenna does really well is his riding effort as a 6'6" attack man. Oh, it's a miscue, though. And Fairfield can push tempo. They've got numbers. Paparosi driving in. He's got Consoli. Puts it wide. That's a great play by Christian Hanko, who got his stick in the shooting lane. And the effort's deflected off the mark. And Fairfield are going to use a timeout here. What a play by Hanko. And again, that Fairfield front line doing a really nice job at riding, forcing a couple of turnovers on the clears. You know, McKenna, one of those guys that Andrew Baxter is always quick to point out, yeah, he's a great goal scorer, but he does so much work off the ball defensively. Obviously, you can help yourself by making yourself as big as possible when you're 6'6". You could cover a lot of ground in the passing lanes. He comes away with his fair share of caused turnovers. He's got 4 now on the season. And Fairfield now a chance here to, again, claw their way back in after another failed clear from Binghamton. And the Stags, who will open up league play on the road next week at Hofstra, which is already one of those big games. I mean, it used to be in the CAA when it was the 6-team format where you played everyone once. Every game was a huge game, and you needed those swing games to go in your favor. Well, that's one that if Fairfield wants to make that push for a postseason bid, you've got to go down to Long Island and come away with a win. That'll be next Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Binghamton away to Merrimack, finishing up this 3-game road trip. Merrimack, they're just an associate member of America East, only in men's lacrosse due to the NEC not sponsoring the sport for the next 2 seasons due to the fact of mass exodus to the likes of Bryant, Mount St. Mary's, Hobart, and St. Joseph's. Merrimack, a team that plays in America East for men's lacrosse, not eligible for postseason, but that's a big game. Merrimack, a very good team in their own right. Off the timeout. Consoli near side. Another good save by Winters. Seeing the ball really well here in this third quarter. Connor Winters has now got 8 saves. Here comes Max Napoli driving forward. He puts it wide. I think if Napoli realized he had Nsinga in all sorts of space off to his left, probably gets one. Fairfield cycle back enough. Luke Rozowski wears 10 in on this offensive set. Senior midfielder from East Syracuse, New York. Smart here by Binghamton after getting that quick look in transition. Now taking the air out of it a little bit after Winters making another good save in this quarter alone. It's made 5 in this third period. Greenblatt now within Bergia. Nicholas and Bergia getting back to his left. Joe Constantino doing a nice job keeping him in check. 12 on the shot clock here. Quinn O'Hara muscling his way inside, but that's not a good pass. Try to put that underneath to Gage Adams. Fairfield done a nice job actually keeping Adams pretty quiet on the day. Adams with 1 assist, no goals, 9 shots taken. Ninth turnover for Binghamton in this contest. And the Stags get a little 2-goal run here. They did score the last goal, Paparosi over the bar. As I said earlier, 4-goal game heading into the fourth quarter. No real problems with that. You got to get there. Ford trying to find McKenna. The pass too tall. And just not keeping that on. It's a great effort from Rob Moore sliding back to try and make a play. But now Binghamton off the Fairfield turnover. Just the Stags' 8th of the game. It's a vast improvement from where Fairfield averaged close to 19 per contest. This is where you got to manage out the game right now if you're Binghamton. Get into the fourth quarter with a +5, maybe better. Knowing that you've had to rely a bit more on your defense than you have in the first 2 quarters combined. Stags with only 1 tally, and a large portion of that is because Winter's been up to the test. Fairfield do have a slight edge in shots, 11-10 in this period. After Binghamton had a 29-14 advantage in shots in the first half. Keegan tried the tight angle. It's wide of the mark. 16 seconds left in the shot clock. Adams. To goal line extend. It's another wild take there. 5 on the clock. Keegan's going to take a step and feed it out in front. See if he gets someone on it. Keegan with 3. Well, he's just going to put it to the corner. A couple of turnovers in succession for Binghamton. Been over 10 minutes since they've found the back of the cage. Dean Ford, again, just his second game played of the season. Short stick midi from South Salem, twin brother of Bryce. Picked up an injury after the Lehigh game to open up the season over a month ago. Actually, a month ago to the day. Hadn't seen action until today after that one, so Stags happy to have some help defensively. They also need a goal here. There's a 3-second differential game to shot clock. The Stags can't hold it till the end. Fairfield are shooting to the scoreboard end off to our left, and Bryce Ford is going to wait until now. He calls Dean over to set a pick. Bryce dodging. Tries to get the goal line extend. Loses his man. It's a good save by Winters. Pops back out to McKenna with 6 on the clock, and he puts it off the back of the net. Fairfield thought that they got a goal, but it went off the wrong side of the net. And after 3 quarters of action here at Rafferty Stadium, well, Fairfield inherited a 5-goal deficit into the third, and they exit still with that 5-goal deficit, now at 10-5. Heading to the 4th. Stay with us here. We'll be back in just a moment. Ready to begin the 4th quarter here at Rafferty Stadium. Thanks for spending your Saturday with us on the Stag Sports Network and Lacrosse TV. JJ Duke with you is, funny enough there, the players were ready to go for the faceoff. The referees were not. So now everyone's in set. Again, the faceoffs have been dominated by Binghamton in this game, up 15-3 with Fairfield only winning 1 cleanly. 2 have been by violations. Orion Hamburger is going to get that one to start this 4th period. Fairfield without Dylan Smith due to an injury that he picked up early against Bryant on Tuesday. The Stags had a 6-goal deficit entering this quarter against Bryant. They got 5 within 5 minutes. Can they be as persistent here in this quarter against Connor Winters, who saved 6 in that 3rd quarter? And the first time in any of the 3 quarters that Fairfield outshot Binghamton. It was 13-12. But yet both teams just with 1 tally. Keegan for Binghamton with his 5th of the game, and Bryce Ford got his 3rd point, but his first goal of the contest. That was the last goal scored. And that came all the way back at the 7:27 mark of the period. Will Consoli closed down. Now gets an angle, puts it wide. Shots of the game right now, 41-28 in favor of the Bearcats. Binghamton averaged just 40 per contest. How did that one go in? We do not know, but Rob Moore's not going to care about it. That was taken late in the shot clock from some way out, and the standard that Connor Winters had in that 3rd quarter, that's surprising that one beats him. We're going to take a look here. This is a round with 8 seconds left. Yeah, and you could see Winters head up to the sky wondering how. But it does, and Fairfield will not care how they go in as long as they do. So Moore's 6th goal of the season. Fairfield's second 2-goal run in this game. The other came back in the 1st quarter to make it 3-3. It looked like Fairfield had that ground ball off the face-off. That's one that they're going to want back. Good job there scooping up by Aaron Tebow. He's had a few of those here in this game. And now Binghamton a chance here to answer. Thomas Greenblatt. Now with Quinn O'Hara. He had back-to-back goals in the second quarter, shooting towards this end. See if he can get himself hot again here as we head down the final stretch. Greenblatt with the goal and 2 assists in this game. Drawing Zach Antoniou. Keegan represents half of the offense for Binghamton in terms of the goals. 12 on the shot clock. That pass just a bit too tall for Nsinga. O'Hara trying to scoop up the ground ball. Shot clock still rolling, by the way, with 4 on it. And it's a Fairfield defensive stop. They've gotten a few of those in the last possessions for Binghamton. Couple of shot clock violations. 1 or 2 unforced turnovers. Binghamton now 12 in this game. Can the Stags be opportunistic here? They get the clear. They're 15 of 16 in clearing today. That's not been the problem. It's been generating consistent offense. I spoke earlier about how efficient Fairfield is in terms of getting their shots on target. They're the leading team in the CAA in shooting percentage. Well, part of the reason why they don't have more goals is the work that Winters has put in. That's a nifty stop there from Connor Winters, who now continues his run of saving 10 or more in every game that he has played in his collegiate career. He got the ground ball as well. That was not an easy one, too. Kind of checked up on him. Yeah, Fairfield, their shooting percentage as a team coming in at 32%. 6 points better than the second best team in the league. They average 23 shots on target per game. They don't have enough of those. And they're only now at 16. But still, it's been a good test here for both of these teams right before league play begins. Binghamton looking for their 4th win of the season. Fairfield trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. 2 of those 3 losses have been by 2 goals. It's an errant pass. It'll be an over and back anyways. The Stags get yet another stop here. They're on a 2-goal run. And that 2-goal run has lasted a good period of time. Bryce Ford at 7:27 the 3rd, and then Rob Moore early on in the 4th. Bryce. Shadowed there by Max Verch. Still Ford. That pass too tall for Consoli. Dean Ford scooping up the ground ball, and he scores! That's just an all-heart, all-hustle play there from Dean Ford. An errant pass from Bryce Ford looking for Consoli in the middle, and then Dean just goes and hunts the ball, and he finishes. And just a bit too tall there, but look at Dean, out of your picture until just then. And then has the presence of mind to know that he got to get a shot off from a good scoring area, and he does. Not much that Winters can do about that one, and look what it means to him. Dean Ford had just 1 goal last season, playing in all 14 games. Again, he's a defensive-minded, short stick midi. Gets his job done on the other side of the field. Missing a lot of time due to injury early portion of this season. And there's a penalty also that's been added against Binghamton. There was a flag down the field against Christian Hanko. But what a win there from the faceoff by Matthew D'Souza. Now let's see if Fairfield get a little desperate here and start to double the ball a bit, knowing that they've got momentum on their side. 1 minute for unnecessary roughness, and Fairfield knocked the ball loose. 2 players in white jerseys fighting for, and PJ McGoldrick comes away with it. D'Souza made a play. That's a bad pass intercepted by Greenblatt. In with the keeper, and what a finish from Keegan. Well, McGoldrick did a lot of things right, winning the ball back, but he threw it to a player in a wrong colored jersey. Goldblatt or Greenback, excuse me, with the pickoff. And then once again, Keegan just showing those great moves right on top of the crease. Not the first time he's done that today, holding out the goalie and freezing him. It's a man-down goal for Binghamton. And Keegan with 6, which is a season best and presume a career best for him. He's only had 6 goals all last season. And Fairfield do win a face-off on man up. They only have 12 seconds. But again, they just gave up a goal man down. It's a bad, bad break for Fairfield after getting the stop. Turnover and then a goal for the Bearcats as we're now back even strength. So Stag's got to do it over again here. McKenna. Got a mismatch here. McKenna trying to bully his way in. Puts it wide. It's not often we see Jack McKenna trying to square a guy up from about 10 yards out. But he's got a good bit of speed to him. That's just not usually where Fairfield run them in their offense. Paparosi to Consoli. Kind of a misfire. McKenna trying to read the bounce. 50-50 ball across the way. And Fairfield doing a nice job of rescuing the possession. They got to move, though, with 15 on the clock. Bryce Ford didn't like it. Has to go back with more. Tight angle for Ford, and that ball goes in! It just squirted around as Bryce Ford, late in the shot clock, had that one go past the goalie. And Fairfield get it right back. Or excuse me, that was Paparosi. My apologies there. Max Paparosi somehow. Hey, again, they all count the same. That's his second of the contest. But off the face-off, once again, Aaron Tebow coming up with a win. Off the Chazanow restart. So again, my apologies there as Paparosi with his second of the day. I thought it was Bryce Ford. We saw on the replay, Paparosi now himself to 14 goals on the season. But again, Fairfield's inefficiency to win faceoffs coming back to hurt them in this game. This is the most faceoffs that they've won in a quarter with 2. But Binghamton have won 18. And they've been relying on the Bearcats turning the ball over or Will Snyder making saves. Greenblatt throwing it in the middle. And how about that for a finish by Quinn O'Hara? That completes his hat trick. Second time he's done that this season. He had one of those against St. John's last week, which actually got him the America East Player of the Week in his 5-point performance. Again, with Fairfield having that 5-goal deficit, they've got it to 3 a couple of times, but they haven't gotten it to within that real arm's length. Now it's 7 minutes left to go here. And the way that Binghamton are winning faceoffs seemingly at will, you can almost break this game up into those 80-second increments. Chazanow, after winning, it's going to go quickly here. Not a great pass, looking for Nsinga. And Ryan Lancaster comes up with the ground ball. That's his 4th of the game, Lancaster, along with a pair of caused turnovers. He's been really good. Spoke about his work earlier, and also he said just putting a lot of hard miles. And how about that, though, from Gage Adams? Kind of laying his body on the line there to knock that ball out of bounds. And Binghamton will just get it right back. So yeah, you go back to those 80-second increments. You try and whittle down the clock here. So even get yourself over the line and pick up your third road win of the season. Something that Binghamton actually was solid at last year. They're 4-3 away from Vestal, New York. How about that for an effort from Nsinga? Backup goes to Binghamton. That was the problem last year for the Bearcats. It's actually their home record. They were 1-5, including Fairfield going on the road and winning. They're 1-1 already on the season on campus. But in sport, of course, if you can be above 500 on the road, take care of your home games, you're going to be set up well. It's actually going to be important for Binghamton to be good on the road this season because they only have 5 home games at all throughout the course of the season. Seven seconds on the shot clock. Great dodging. Better save by Snyder. Keegan tried to get him on the fakes again. There's a flag, though, anyway, so it's going to be possession back here to Binghamton. But look at the amount of fakes. And, yeah, Snyder just sticking out the right. Now, we'll continue to say it. If it wasn't for the work of Will Snyder in goal and a little bit of help from his friends, the crossbar and the 2 posts, Binghamton probably has 17 or 18 goals instead of the 12. As Ryan Lancaster takes a penalty. Lancaster, minute penalty, so a man up now for the Bearcats, who are 1 of 2 today. And a man-up goal in the second quarter. Matthew Keegan, they get another one. (13-8) now to Binghamton. They only needed 7 seconds off the restart, and Greenblatt just said, all right, well, you're going to step off of me, so wind up and fire, and he scored. So Greenblatt got a 6-point day in this game. He's had 5 on a couple of occasions, including 2 goals, 3 assists on Tuesday against Lehigh. Probably a good chance that he's going to be coming away with the Player of the Week award for the America East this week. He's now up to 25 points this season. Just 6 games. Now for Fairfield with under 5 to play, it's really just got to be quick. Quick offense, try to get looks. I always say about that 3-minute mark, if you're within 3 goals, you have a chance. In this sport, of course, you get goals flying in as quick as you like. If you win a couple of face-offs fast, it's game on. But Fairfield cannot stand about. Otherwise, it's going to be Binghamton who will win this game. And the only question is by how much. Bryce Ford reverses back to Moore. Comes to Jake Gilbert. Consoli had that pass batted down by Hanko. Big ground ball, though. Consoli had it. Gets knocked towards the goalie, and Winters will cover. That's that stop that you needed if you're Binghamton to basically almost kind of conserve your energy and also consolidate your goal, then get a stop. And now the Bearcats will play keep away. Of course, long are the days without the shot clock, so you can't see out the whole game, but you can take off a good chunk of time. We said that Binghamton, after this game, they'll go to Merrimack before hosting NJIT on the 25th of March. Fairfield away for their first 2 league games to Hofstra and Towson before they welcome in Drexel. And if you want your litmus test early on in league play, there you go. Arguably, you've got to go find a way to get at minimum 1, ideally you want 2. I mean, for those that are saying for the Stags, it's kind of a nicer finish to their conference schedule. It's all the 3 new teams. Plenty of experience playing Stony Brook in years past. 2 teams met to start last season. And then Monmouth and Hampton. As Ford trying to muscle his way inside. Bryce shoots, saved by Winters, and it's raked back into the crease by the defender. I mean, you're kind of looking, if you're Fairfield, before that Monmouth game on the 15th of April, you're 2-2. You arguably have yourself a chance to make the postseason. That means at minimum you got to go get 1 on the road. And Andrew Baxter will certainly be knowing that. Team were within just a couple of possessions at the final game of the season last year against Udell to get into the playoffs. Having a 7-7 season end on the final day without a spot in the playoffs. Nice moves by O'Hara, and he gets 1 more. Quinn O'Hara with his 4th goal. And that will just about do it. With 1:56 left, Binghamton, if there's any thought of a Fairfield comeback, it's probably not likely at this stage, as O'Hara just bullying his way inside against Akupski. He created actually a lesser angle for a shot and still scored anyways. There's enough time for 2 more possessions in this game. Binghamton with their 19-6 face-off advantage. You win 1 here clean, and then you could just hold the ball. In theory, you don't even have to shoot. You could give up the possession, and still it's not going to matter a whole lot here. But yet another win. That time for D'Souza. It was now 10 of 14. Chazanow 10 of 12, D'Souza 10 of 14. And a couple of the D'Souza losses were on the violations. So, yeah, they did their job today at X. Fairfield sorely missing Dylan Smith, who again picked up that injury early against Bryant on Tuesday. They were Tim Lucky, Ryan Hamburger, and Jack LaBanca, a freshman who's taken 1. They'll learn a lot about themselves on video as that shot wide with the goalie pulled out, being the extra defender. Enter the final minute. Again, yeah, the Stags have pulled Snyder to be that extra defender. Now he goes back in cage. But it was a crease violation. Inadvertently, Keegan stepped in the crease. If there is a mark for Binghamton, it's the turnovers. And there's a flag that's been thrown behind the field as well. I think there's some extracurriculars. Bryce Ford in front to McKenna, who will score to complete his hat trick. Yeah, there was some jawing after the Keegan step into the crease. Yep, there's going to be a 1-minute unsportsmanlike locked in against Keegan, which is kind of a sour note to end his game, a 6-goal performance. But the turnovers are going to be the one that will probably hurt Binghamton in terms of their day-to-day. Outside of that, a little bit of an inexcused, ill-advised penalty to take at the end of the contest. It's really job done here for Kevin McEwen and his staff, seeing his team execute on all 3 phases. When Winters needed to make saves in the 3rd quarter to stop a potential Fairfield run, he did. Now for Fairfield here, a chance to execute on man up. Remember, there was a sequence when it was 11-8, and Fairfield had a chance at the man up, lost the face-up, gave up a goal. They want to execute here in this man-up situation to end the contest. Kevin Dolan not able to take that pass. It's picked up by Lorenzo Ramos, and that will do it. Binghamton on the road, getting revenge for a loss against Fairfield a season ago. Win here by 14 goals to 9. Matthew Keegan, the offensive leader, with a season and career best 6 goals off 9 shots. Quinn O'Hara with 4 as well, coming off of the 3-goal performance he had against St. John's last weekend, 2 against Lehigh on Tuesday. Was the supplemental score, and then a 6-point output for Thomas Greenblatt, while Fairfield had a hat trick from Jack McKenna. And the 2-goal day from Max Pepperozzi, a goal and 3 assists for Bryce Ford. Fairfield with the loss drops to 2-5. They will enter league play next Saturday at Hofstra. Meanwhile, Binghamton improved to 4-2. They will travel to North Andover